Baseline 5 here asking you guys, what happens if you don't have any ammo? You shoot lasers from your hands. And that's what we're going to do here today. We have our Hexecutioner here, and showing off a little bit of his skill. And so this build is pretty interesting. The way I patched it together, it started out as a melee build, and we couldn't be any further away. We're just going to do a couple of important runs here. I don't want to keep you guys too long, but build up your spell weaving stacks, and make sure you hit drill in the face. And it's usually better to cascade the shots, one and then wait a second, shoot another one, and that way there you can keep them going. But these are just single charge laser hands. There are other ones out there, 2 charge and 3 charge, but the recharge rate is, about 5.7 seconds, I believe, and so they're constantly up. If you cascade them, you're also getting all of your enchantments, which is a real big thing about this build, is that I have pretty much every on spell cast enchantment on me at this time, and they proc every time I'm just attacking in general. As you can see in the second phase of drill here, we're just tearing him apart while he's still throwing his little spears at us. By the time he comes back to us, we're just going to have him down. This gear on here is mainly primordial. I will say that there is one piece of gear that is interesting in and of itself. It does not actually match what it's supposed to be, but we'll be going over that later on in the video. And as you can see here, we just drill is, still kind of a pain, but not nearly as much. Just handling everything. It's kind of like walking around like a boss, knowing that you can just point your finger and it's going to go away. Most enemies are one-shot. Now, obviously, your bosses are not going to just be one-shot, but again, drill, we're just kind of chunking away at him, little by little, just slowly burning off his health bars. And this third phase actually goes a little bit slower than the first two, but it's still very effective. Dodges attacks, charge it up. And my problem, even recording this video, I still have the problem of not holding the spell long enough. As long as you hold that spell long enough, it will crit, and it does ridiculous amounts of damage. I made a lot of shots even recording this video that were not full charge shots. And the way I'm trying to work it out is when I think it's a full charge, I count to 1 after that and then fire it off. So, as you can see, we just work his way down. We're going to go through the rest of this phase here and talk a little bit more about the gear while we're at it. I'm actually using, it's kind of odd, but ironically, I'm using a pixie pistol. It's a glittering whatnot of the enchanter. I'm just using it because it happened to have the enchantment on it. On spellcast, increase elemental damage by 20% for 5 seconds. Our melee weapon, which you can see we're not swinging at all, is a Spellblade. It's also primordial, but again, not really using it. The enchantment is what's important on it, and on that one I have on spellcast, increase fire damage by 30% for 5 seconds. Then we move over to both of our spells, which are obviously the laser hand, and on spellcast, increase damage dealt by 15% for 10 seconds, and on spellcast, increase ability damage by 30% for 10 seconds. So again, both of those spellcast enchantments, and the damage on them is both the same. They're basic laser hands. The shield I'm using, it's a body rune, and the enchantment on that is, while health is below 50%, you gain 5% maximum health per second regeneration and gain 30% damage dealt. So it's kind of like an emergency button. There is the other enchantment I would love to use to see how it works on this is the while your health is full, gain 25% gun damage, 25% crit damage. That would be interesting to see. Then as you look on rings, I got 2 spell damage rings that are both primordial at 22.7%. Again, very common items, and one does have a high spell critical hit damage, and so that one, Doesn't really skew the damage too much. Any spell rings will really work. And for our amulet, I'm actually using just a regular epic fire spell shot primordial amulet with status effect damage. Actually, I wanted to make sure I at least had that on it. And now we'll take a look at the skill tree here. And as you can see on Oath of Fire there right on top, I happen to have a 10 out of 5. That's because the one piece of gear I wasn't really talking too much about is my Cavalier Smart Armor. It's a Clawbringer Spore Warden armor with a +5 to Oath of Fire. So it's kind of a hard one to come across, but it doesn't really affect too much of this build. I just happen to have it. The Smart Armor is the most important part of that. Plus I also have the plus 25% spell damage, plus 15% all damage, because it is just a regular legendary. It is not chaotic, it is not volatile, it is not primordial, it's just basic. So that is what was really interesting, I thought, about this build, is that I had a basic piece of armor and I was able to use small percentages off of that to get the big damage. So you can use smaller gear in this build. We also have maxed out Dragon Aura, so we can get the elemental damage, and it's always a big one. Also Rebuke, so that we can get some damage reduction. Not always looking to, be hurt, but just in case, I figured this was probably the better one to have. We also have Blasphemous Favor, the kill skill when killing an enemy with a gun, or whenever the Wyvern Companion kills an enemy. Now, I will say that when you kill them with a spell, it also procs as well. It shoots out an orb. We have Friend of the Flame, so we have some Wyvern damage. Firebolt as well to help out with the Wyvern damage as well. Plus, if you want to shoot your gun, this will help out with that damage. And we can move over to Awe down below here. Now, Oz, after dealing fire damage, the Fatemaker gains increased critical hit damage for a short duration. Well, Laser Hand is dealing all fire damage. Fire damage equals critical hit damage equals fire damage. So, I mean, it's the whole circle there. It's like a circle. So, as long as you keep that up, I think it's pretty good. And like I said, you can get the Warcaster Smart Armor, and that can actually drop with Awe as one of the skills for it, and that can increase your damage. So that would be really cool to see. If you guys see anything like that and you set the build up with that, drop me a comment. Let me know how it works out for you. And let's go ahead here and check out the SpellShot skill tree. And now over here, as you can see, we have Spell Sniper, so spell critical hit chance increased. We get that maxed out at 60%. Magic Bullets, so in case you want to shoot your gun, I just like to have magic bullets, as always to have an option. Mage Armor, so this is so that I can keep my shield up. It helps with the survivability aspect of it, because it's a little bit difficult to one-shot you if you keep your shield up at least, because it's always got something to whittle down. Font of Mana, we don't have an action skill, but we do have spells. Glass Cannon is huge for the spell damage. High Thread Count is also good for the spell weaving stacks. We definitely need those. Imbued Weapon, whenever a Fatemaker casts a spell, his guns deal bonus damage of that spell's element. So again, it's another good thing for the shooting aspect of things. And Double Knot, so critical hit with a spell deals bonus gun damage of the gun's element. So Double Knot's also a good skill to have, especially for shooting things too, but helps out with this as well. So that is how the skill tree pretty much plays out. Here we go. You see I have spell weaving set up here. You get plus 8% per stack with 5 stacks max, so you're getting plus 40% spell damage with when your spell weaving is maxed out, which is why you'll see that sometimes before walking into something I'll start casting spells, because it's not taking any ammo. Critical hit damage, status damage, another huge one, and we also have the spell cooldown instead of skill cooldown. So since again no action skill will be needed, and look at those percentages up there. Our Clawbringer is at 30% and our SpellShot is at 39%. So that goes to show you the armor makes a big difference for the percentages, and I'm still dealing big damage even with the low spell weaving stack damage. even with the low Blasphemous Favor damage, it still works. And here we go. This is another good test spot here. The Son of a Witch. Let's see, start casting there. We got 7, 7, 7. Okay. Sometimes I don't get to 8 before I get in there. I try. There we go. Alright, let's get in there. And just hold it. I think it's good. Wait a second. Fire again. Look at that. Just chunking that shield off. It's not, you know, clearing him out right away. I'm not coming out having to reload a gun constantly. I'm just firing my spells, taking aim. You do want to take aim, because if you do hit the crit spots, you do actually do better damage. At least it seems from how I've been doing it. My aim has been kind of terrible, because my past builds with the Ruby Spike have kind of hurt my game a little bit, but that's okay. I'm getting back. Right there, we just got him down to his second phase. He's crawling into the ground. You didn't even see the Spectral Aegis come out. I've done this run dozens of times, and every boss in the game can easily be taken down. You don't even have to like worry about much. You can kind of just like walk around and just, you know, spell slap them. That's all it is. You're big pimping, spell slapping them all over the place. That is how Son of a Witch falls down. Again, it's not instantaneous, but it's also not super difficult. Stick and move, charge your spell. Here's your gear. As you can see here, we got all primordial, with the exception of our Cavalier Smart Armor over there in the bottom right corner. Nice little Clawbringer Spore Warden. But everything else primordial, nothing really super difficult to obtain. And the big thing again is the enchantments. On spellcast, increase fire damage. On spellcast, increase elemental damage. On spellcast, increase damage dealt. On spellcast, increase ability damage. On spellcast, oh, one too many. And then the last one was while health is below 50%, regen 5% max health and plus 30% damage dealt. So that is the setup there, plus the rings, plus the amulet. Check it out with another smart armor. Like I said, the Warcaster smart armor can drop with awe, and you want spell damage and all damage on that preferably as well. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. Check me out on Twitch and Twitter as well, and bye-bye.